Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny from Stories from Motorsports, and Happy New Year to everyone. And today we have the owner of the Fire Department of New York Racing Team, Jim Rosenblum. Hey, how you doing?
Good, yourself, and a happy, healthy one to you.
Yeah, for sure. Where are you at the moment?
I'm in Florida, near Fort Myers.
That's nice.
Next week we'll be going to Daytona to test the ARCA cars.
That's awesome. Do you have a truck prepared for the upcoming Daytona weekend?
We do.
Awesome. So what got you started into racing?
Well, we're always into racing, drag racing when we were young. Excuse me. And I'd gone to the 500 a couple of times way back when it first started, in 1959 or something like that. And a friend of mine was the head of Chevrolet Racing, I think. He ran the Indy cars. He came in second to Roger Ward, and then I think it was 60, won the Indy 500. Then he came in second again, but he was friends with, I guess, Big Bill France, and he took us up to Daytona and got on the infield, in the pits and everything, and got interested in that. And we were running the Trans Am series with Chauncey, Jocko, Maggiacomo, and won the Trans Am series, and then decided we were going to go cup racing. And we went to cup racing mostly in Pocono, Riverside in California, Watkins Glen, Charlotte, Rockingham, and we did the cup racing for a while, and they came out with the Truck Series, and we ran the trucks and a cup car for a couple of years, but the cup was just getting out of hand, and the Truck Series was fun. It was like the Cup Series used to be. And we just continued it, and after 9/11, after a lot of money was raised by charities, I'm not going to mention them, and the money never went to the Widows Fund where it should have gone. So we decided to rename it FDNY Racing and raise money for the Widows and Children's Fund, for the fire department and the police department. And the main thing was to bring attention to the sacrifice of all the first responders, fire department, police department, EMS, all the military deployed and still in the country or wherever they're stationed. And we wanted everyone to remember all people that died on 9/11. And it was 343 firemen. And a lot of them had died since from all the unknown cancers that were floating around down here. Well, they said it was safe, but it wasn't. And everybody seems to like that we represent the first responders. And we get good reception wherever we go. I mean, we were out west. A lot of times we ran into, like in Las Vegas, we ran into a group of retired fire department people from New York. And they all came out. So, and now, most of the guys on the team are retired or on the fire department or the police department, and they're all volunteers, except for Raymond or Haley brothers. They're the ones that take care of the trucks and the motors and everything else. And we go to have a good time. They made a video about us. It was Ray Dunlap was the announcer back then in the Truck Series, and I think it was NBC or one of them They said, we're going to do a video, we're going to do a video. Well, finally, one day they called us up a couple days before the Pocono race, and they said, okay, we're going to do it. No notice. So we went to a firehouse in the Bronx. They call it the Cross Bronx Express. It's engine 46, line 27. And they had us there for a half a day. And then we went down to the World Trade Center. We were there a half a day. And then he was there for 2 days at Pocono Speedway. And he said, I have 66 hours worth of film, and I got to come up with 3 minutes where you guys don't say, I won't say, it's public. So I went out, came out, got a big response, lots of hits on it. Somebody told me 26,000, I'm not sure. But it's still on the website, FDNYRacing.com. You can go see the video and some of the pictures from races from way back when up till today. So we still go, we still have time, but it's 21 years, 22 years since 9/11. And most of the people that were just babies are all in their 20s, and nobody remembers. So we try to maintain, don't forget, never forget the 9/11.
Yeah, that's a good cause, man. I actually remember vaguely where I was on 9/11. I was 3 going on 4 years old at the time, and I was at a soccer game with cheering on my older brother who was on the team in our hometown of Estes Park, Colorado, and I couldn't help but notice while I was in the stadiums that whenever my team scored a goal and all that, it didn't seem like anybody was excited and nobody was clapping and cheering. And then Estes won, but a post-game celebration was canceled and everybody carried on their merry ways. And then I got home with my brother and saw my parents watching the news with the burning towers, and we didn't know what was going on at the time. And my mother told my brother and me, let's just say that there's a lot of people in this world that do really mean things. And then they sent us out of the room so we wouldn't be traumatized. But it wasn't till I was 10 years old that I finally realized the scope of what happened.
Yeah, and there are a lot of guys that were that fought in Vietnam and were members of fire department in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And you live through one thing, and then this happened, and they were definitely affected by it, PTSD, whatever. And there were people that were down there and nothing ever happened to them, and there's people that caught all kinds of unknown cancers, and unfortunately they suffered for a while and they eventually passed away. So it was not a good time for the fire department. It wasn't a good time for America. So, but you said you were in Estes Park?
Estes Park, Colorado, yeah.
We were out there, man. I love that place.
Yeah, that's originally where I'm from.
Yeah, it's a very nice place to visit.
Yeah, what was your reaction when you first saw it?
Oh, well, let me see. We were driving cross country. Maybe I was in my late 20s. Oh, I thought it was fantastic. I mean, the scenery, just everything about it. The people, everything was very nice.
For sure. I remember as a young kid, I got a tour of the fire department of Estes and got to sit in the front seat of a fire truck and act like I was behind the wheel. A lot of fun.
Yeah, that's good. It's good.
Yeah, for sure. So my next question I have is, what happened at Pocono in 1988 and then afterwards with Jocko?
1988. Is that with the accident with Bobby Allison?
Yeah.
Well, we were we had a brand new car, and evidently they used to, when it came off at 2, I think it was, they used to cut across like the grass. So they put in a blacktop curb, and to keep everybody from shortcutting. And from what I understand, is Bobby Allison his tire was going down at the start of the race. And Michael Waltrip supposedly called in and said his tire's going down, but he didn't want to lose a lap. So he kept going, and he spun out, and Chauncey was coming around. He had no place to go, and he hit T-boned him in there. And unfortunately, Bobby it was the end of his career, which was a great career. And Chauncey, he broke his sternum and a few other parts. It took him a while to get back. And after that, I think he ran Rockingham or Charlotte, I forget, and maybe Watkins Glen. But he was affected by it also. So, and after that, we had Randy LaJoy drove. Let me see. It was Randy, Eddie Beerswall, Gary Ballou. Who else drove? Gary Ballou. Bob. Can't think of Bob's last name. We had a bunch of different drivers. Several different drivers. And then we got into, Kerry Teague and Perry Tripp. If I can remember them all. Can't even remember what I ate this morning. That's what you when you get into the 80s, that's what happens.